Hey, how y'all doing out there in YouTube land? The Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. We got a fun one today. Unboxing. This was an eBay purchase. And I forget the name of the eBayer, but I will put it in the Show Me More section of the video, so you can check it out there. I think this was a purchase that I've been wanting to try out, if it's what I think it is. Well, let's find out. Doing the unboxing today is my 275 Adamas. Went to work with me today. It does. It's not super light in the pocket. You know, I do know it's in my pocket, but it's not super heavy either. So it's totally doable as an EDC if you like, if you're one of those type of people that like the bigger knives. If you like lightweight knives, I don't think it'd be the one for you for EDC, because it doesn't feel lightweight. Nice packaging. And here we go. Yes, I told y'all I wanted to try this one out too. I got this one in a different color pattern. I think it's a desert color. Black class, Mini Adamas 273FE-2. Tactical, CPM-CruWear, manual open, Mini Adamas. It doesn't say what color it is though. That's what I was trying to see, what color it was. All sealed up. This way it comes in the package. The little warranty information, care information. I don't know if anything's under the styrofoam. Let's take a look real quick. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. Nice little pouch. And there it is there. I wanted to try out this color too. This one's going to be going in the drawer also. Both of them are going to be in my drawer. Perfectly centered. I've never had a Benchmade that wasn't perfectly centered. It's got the Biggs Bronze Phosphor bushings in there. I don't know if you can see those. I can see them. Just like the big Adamas has. Oh man, it was smooth. And this, it fits my hand. Fits my hand! Oh yeah, I like it. I like it. This one would probably go to work the most. It's got me right off the bat. It's a real comfortable handle too. I like the Mini. But then again though, I'm not a woods crafter or anything like that. And I know a lot of people that didn't like the Mini was because they want the bigger one. They thought the bigger one would be better for them because they're doing like things like, outdoor stuff like wood crafting and things that you need to do like in a camp or whatever. Me, I'm a city person. And pretty much all I do is ride my bike, go fish. The only outdoor stuff I do is fishing and riding my motorcycle up in the mountains sometimes when the weather's nice and stuff like that. And or riding down in the delta along the river. But other than that, I all the stuff I do is just city stuff, like go to work every day and live in my home. You know what I mean? It's like I don't really do outdoor. I don't do woods crafting. That's what I'm trying to say. But I do appreciate the wood crafters out there, though. Because they show us how good the blades are. If you do need to do that kind of stuff, and just shows you how tough the knives are too. So I do appreciate everybody that does woodcrafting videos. I like to watch your videos too. Because then it lets me know how tough knives are. I don't have to test them out myself. Now, if I had a Patreon page where people were paying me each month, you know, I'd test out stuff that people wanted to test out. You know what I mean? Because then I purchase it with the Patreon money, and I wouldn't mind tearing it up or whatever. You know, but things I buy with my own hard-earned cash and stuff like that, it's hard for me to take them out and just destroy them. I don't know. I'm not a rich man. Money's not easy to come by. So, you know, I don't do stuff like that. I absolutely love it. It fits my hand perfectly. I absolutely love this one. No up and down or side to side or anything. Locks up nice and tight. Feels like it needs some lubrication though. Feels kind of dry. You gotta give it some wrist action to get it going. But you know, that's one thing I have experienced with Benchmade knives, is that they always need a little bit of breaking in. The ones I don't think I have any Benchmade knives with ball bearings. All my Benchmade knives are bronze phosphor washer folders. Just about all my cold steel knives are the same way. And I think that's the best setup if you want to make something really, really super tough, is to use the bronze phosphor washers instead of ball bearings. Ball bearings are cool because, you know, it's cool for the fidget factor. You know what I mean? It's cool to open and close, and they're super smooth and all that kind of stuff. But if you're going to be really out in the field, you know, I could picture that not being the greatest thing, because I've heard, you know, people talking about how, you know, you get grit and dirt and stuff inside them, and they start, you know, working kind of funky. I haven't had that experience because I haven't been in dirt. I don't like to get dirty. The only time I get dirty is if I go fishing or something. You know, get fish all over me. Come home smelling like a fish. A rotten fish. But, so I don't have that issue. So ball bearing knives work perfectly fine for me. But I do appreciate, you know, things that are overbuilt and built to be super tough and built for actual combat, and built for when the SHTF. And, you know, so you have some tools for that in case that ever happens. I hope it never does happen, but in case it ever does happen, you know, I think it's always good to be prepared for everything. Always hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. That's my motto. That's the motto I live by. Hope for the best, but always be prepared for the worst. I really like this one. Okay, let's stop talking about it. I've held it enough now. I know I like the way it feels in my hand. I know I like it. And like this one, I know it's going to break in. This one is like, ball bearing knives I have aren't as smooth as this one. That's because this one's been carried to work since I've had it, and it's been constantly fidgeted with. It's totally broken in now. No up and down, no side to side or nothing. It's a totally solid lockup. These are excellent knives. And this one, like I'm going to do to this one, it's been lubed. I took it apart and lubed the Omega Springs. That's why I suggest you do with yours too, if you get a knife with Omega Springs, is to take it apart when you first get it and lube the Omega Springs. We'll do it on this one. We'll do it on this one. Matter of fact, let's do it right now. Let's do it real quick. We can do it real quick. Won't take that long. Let's see. T8, T6, T10. A little bit of oil and some grease. That's all you need. I wasn't planning on doing this for this video, but why not? I'm digging this knife. Oh, and I got this for $169. $169 on eBay. Guys still selling them too, so if you guys are interested, you guys can go check it out on eBay. I'll put down all the information in the credits of this video, or whatever you call it. in the show more section. So if you're interested, check that out. Okay, let's see what we got here. First, let's weigh it real quick. I'm really digging this one though, the mini. 4.6 ounces. Oh, that's perfect. That's one of my favorite weights to carry. This is going to be a knife that goes to work with me a lot. This one, I love it and everything, but this one's more EDC friendly. This would be the one I'll take to work. This one, it's already gone to work, and I've already carried it for the last couple of days. And it's a beautiful knife, but it is a little bit on the heavy side for me in my pocket, you know, because I can feel it in the pocket. But that's okay though. You know, it's a beautiful size. I think these new ones are a lot better than the old ones. And it's because they downsize them to a really good EDC friendly size, and you still got a heavy duty folder. I think that's the best weight for me, in between like 6 and 7 ounces for folders I want to, you know, carry that are heavy duty. You know, like 4-inch blade folders in that realm. When they're in that weight range, is because it usually means that, you know, you got a nice heavy. Actually, it'd be like 5.5 to about 6 ounces. I mean, to about 7 ounces. Those are usually where you find them really, even maybe 5 ounces, huh? 5 to 7 ounces. Because I'm thinking about the Recon ones. Those are like 5.2 ounces or something, or 5.3. So yeah, I would say from 5 to 7 ounces is a good weight for a strong, heavy-duty folder. And when I'm talking about strong, heavy-duty folders, I'm not talking about ones that are like 13 inches long or something like that. I'm talking about the ones with like a 3.5 to 4 inch, or 3.5. Let's say the 3.5 to 4.5 inch blade. In that size category. From 3.5, I would say 3.5 to 4.5 inch blade, and they could weigh, you know, anywhere from 5 to 7 ounces. And those are going to be like heavy-duty knives. You'll even find heavy-duty knives like from 4.5 ounces on up. Because like the Cold Steel the 4-inch Towel Wars, those are like 4.7 or 4.8. But there's there's even ones in the 4.5 ounce range. But the ones that I would call super heavy-duty would probably be like in this class. We're in like the 6 to 7 ounce range. That's usually where you find the super heavy-duty ones. And then you can get like the overbuilt ones, like the 4 Max, which would be like 10 ounces. And that's just, or like the SOG Seal, which is like 8.2 ounces. And those are just like too heavy for me. For a 4-inch blade knife, I think that's just too heavy. But they are super duper heavy duty knives. Probably the most heavy duty knives of the bunch. Especially when you're talking about like the 4 Max. Okay, let's get busy. Enough chatter. Let me see. And let's see how thick the blade is real quick. .4 3.4 I got for thickness. Let you guys check it out. Let's see what so they're the same thickness. So the thickness of the blades are the same. Whether you get the larger version or the mini version, the blade thicknesses are the same. So this is a true heavy-duty little folder. It's just as the blade is just as thick as its big brother. I'm digging this one though. I'm digging this one. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I love it. How long is it? Blade's at 3 1/4. Handle is almost 4.5 inches. Total length 7.5, a little bit over 7.5 inches. I love it, and it feels good in my hand too. I mean, I know that the clip is here, but like on this one, it's like it doesn't bother me at all. It's not a hot spot at all. I would not change this pocket clip. I like the pocket clip just as it is. I like the color of it. You know, because I have a lot of black knives, so it's kind of refreshing sometimes to have things that are different colors. I like this. I like it. Looks like a, you know, it's probably made for, you know, somebody, the soldiers in Afghanistan and the Middle East, and it'd be even good for like in the forests of like Germany, like where I was stationed at. It would blend in there too. Look good with a cami outfit, camouflage uniform. Oh man, this is nice. This is really nice. A real nice heavy-duty EDC. As you guys know, I like these little heavy-duty EDCs. I love my Kiku and... Okay, I'm talking too much. I get to talking. I get something I like and I get all happy. What size is this? Is that a T6? Might be a T6. There we go. Looks like it'd be easy to take the pocket clip off first because it's sort of like blocking the screw. It's like in the way. Now I'm going to scratch anything. So I'll take this off first, set it out the way. Then we'll come back to this one. Now on this, all I'm doing is lubing the springs. That's all you have to lube. Because when you got washers like this, you don't really have to grease them or anything. You just put a little bit of oil in it and let it work in. But you do want to, at least I do, I like to lube the Omega springs. Because I've broken Omega springs before, and the only time I've ever broken them was when they were dry. And when you use the access lock, it's usually best to use both sides of the lock. I know you can just get away with just using one side of the lock. If you do that, that's how you usually tend to break the springs really quick. Because you'll break that one spring that you're using. That's my experience. Been there, done that. You break that one spring on one side. You know, your knife won't stop working because unless you break both springs, the knife will continue to work, continue to function. There we go. See, this is your Omega spring. Now, what we're going to do is put some grease on that, and we're going to put the scale back on it. And now you can see what the stainless steel liners look like. Black class knives always have thick stainless steel liners. It doesn't matter what size the knife is. The black class Benchmades are the ones that I like the best. I won't buy a Benchmade if it's not a black class, because the black class ones are the strong Benchmades. The other ones are weak. I'm just being blunt. You know, all you bug out lovers, you like them little weak knives. I don't like weak knives. I like knives that are strong without having to, you know, get custom scales and stuff like that. I want it to be strong from the way it came from the factory. And the black class Benchmades are the strong ones. So it's my advice, you know, that's what I would recommend if you want to get a Benchmade. If you care about it being a strong knife, get a black class. Don't get a blue class or one of the other classes or whatever. Get the ones that are made for law enforcement and soldiers and emergency response people. They're the ones that are built to really be tough. All the other ones are built for civilians. And they don't put so much emphasis on the toughness. More on the looks and weight and stuff like that. They get more concerned about weight. That's just the way Benchmade does, though, you know. Put a little grease on here, too. You don't want anything binding up that Omega spring. And that's all you have to do. Then you just put it back together. Because these are very nicely made knives. The only thing that gets tricky is when you take out the pivot, what do you call it, the pivot pin to do the other side. That could be a little tricky. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. So the body screws are T6. Nice I like these OD Green G10 handle scales too. They're awesome. And this has got the CruWear blade. The CruWear. So this is the badass little blade. This is a badass little knife. I love it. I love it. It might become one of my favorite little knives. I don't know. This one's got all the good materials on it. That's what makes this one so cool. And plus it's got the axis lock, you know, a Benchmade axis lock, which is like super awesome. And it's made by Benchmade, where, you know, they put a lot of pride into the Adamas series. It's one of their, well, pretty much all the black class knives are like that. They give it their best. Because Benchmade likes to make good things for people that need them in law enforcement and the military. Emergency response personnel. They want to make sure they have good equipment. So the black class is the way to go, if you ask me. That's what I would recommend if you want to get a Benchmade knife. Ah, fell out. I was trying not to do that, but it did anyway. Now you can see how this looks. Now I will grease it up because it's going to be all apart, so I might as well grease it up. This is what the washers look like. I like the way they do this blade tang. It's like they embedded a phosphor bronze bushing or washer on each side. I think that's pretty intense. That's the way they did on this one too when I took it apart. This is exactly the same way. I'm greasing up the inside. And on the mega spring. And that's it. Well, now I'm going to put some on the tang also. So now it'll be totally lubed. But if you can, you know, try to do it without having to go through that step, because it's sort of a pain in the butt to get these washers back in once they come out. You have to use like one of these little drivers or whatever to line up the pivot hole. Okay, that's good. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, I'm glad I finally got an Adamas. Glad I finally got the Adamas. Oh, a little tidbit for you guys. I also got another one coming on the way. Another knife that I've been wanting for last couple of years. Coming on the way. And I went ahead and spent some money on it, people. I spent more than I always spend on it. This is going to be one of my most expensive knives. That and the 4-Max. The two 4-Maxes I have. The American and the Italian one. I spent over that amount, over my limit on those too. But I think I got a fairly good deal. What do you guys think? I'll tell you what it is. It's an Andrew Demko AD20S. Andrew Demko AD20S with the shark's foot. The shark's foot blade. It's got the thumb studs without the hole. It's got the gray handle. With D2 and Grivery. How much you guys think I paid? I got it on the second market, the secondary market. And I got it on eBay. I paid $300 for it. I think brand new they were $275 if I'm not mistaken. That model with the Grivery handle scales and D2 blade, I think it was $275 because it's all American knife except for the lock bar, I think, and the Grivery handle scales. The lock bar and the Grivery handle scales are actually made in Taiwan at the Cold Steel factory, where Andrew Demko gets his the AD20s made at, the AD20.5s made at. Okay, so that's ready to go. These handles, just by themselves, even without the blade in it, they're super stout. You can't bend them. You can't flux them. And most knives, if you don't have the blade in there with the pivot all tightened up and everything, the handles will flex a little bit. These don't flex. These are some super stout handles. That's all I got to say. I don't think Benchmade cut corners when they made this knife. The series of knives, just like the Contigos are stout too. And the 391 BKs are stout. Even the fact I have is made real strong. Even though it's a very lightweight knife, the knife itself is still the way it's constructed. That's a strong little knife too, and that's a black class too. Was it the 417 or something like that? Stout fact, the one that looks like a little stiletto. And I only got one of those because I don't know, it was just too small and thin. I didn't like the way the blade was too thin, but it's actually an awesome knife. It just wasn't for me, so I just collected it. I got one of those too in my collection, my Benchmade collection. Okay, let's see if we can get this back together now. And then we put this back together. You sort of got to put your finger in here and sort of push apart try to push apart the scales just a little bit so the washers will fit in there. There we go. Then you got to pull back on the lock. I forget which side the pin goes in. You see, boom, so it must be this way. I'm lining up all the washers and everything. Let me see if I can just start it first. So once it's going from the other side. Okay. Is that right? So maybe I was trying to put it in from the wrong side. On this one, it's got the screw side on the clip side. I wonder if that's right, because usually the knives are the same. Try it one more time from this side. You guys are seeing me taking this apart for the first time. Yeah, it has to go in the other way. It's only one way it can go in. It's not going to go in from this side this way. So it has to be this side. Okay. Alright, now we'll put the blade, try to put the blade back in. Now I think I got it on the right side. Okay, there we go. We're getting started now. Come on, washer, move out my way. Alright. There we go. Oh yeah, it's going to be perfectly centered. Look at that. Look at that. I love it. These Adamases are really made very, 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 very well. And as you guys know, I take apart a lot of knives. And you can often tell how well a knife is made by the way it's assembled from the factory. And this knife was put together extremely well. A lot of attention to detail went into making of this knife. I hope I'm putting the pivot back together on the right side. Or maybe I put that one on the wrong side when I put it together the other day. Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe that one's backwards. I have to check them out. Right about there. Oh, there's a little bit tighter. Oh, that's too tight now. No blade play. Still a little bit too tight. It stays centered, it never goes off center. So like on most knives, when you adjust it, it'll go to one side and then you adjust it to the center. This one just stays centered. Doesn't matter when the pivot's loose or not, it still stays centered. That just tells me, there you go. Ooh. Just like the other one. No blade plate. Well, oh, little tick. Let me move it. There you go. Oh man, that's so smooth. I love it. This is going to become one of my favorites. I can tell you, this is the AD20.5 and the Cogent. And my Mini Adamas. I think they're going to become my favorites for little knives. I absolutely love this one, people. And this is another knife. Well, you know, it's a little bit over 3 inches, so some places it might be, somebody might sit, but you know, it's only 3¼ inches, so I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. I don't think anybody's going to freak out. I absolutely love it. I'm going to carry this sucker everywhere. This is going to be one of my most used knives. I can tell you that right now. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's an awesome little knife. I think it's a very awesome little knife. And I'll show you what I did on this one. Let me see if I can take the side off on this one really quick. So you can see I've already lubed up this one too. And this driver's starting to get messed up. So you know what? You just got to take my word for it. I'm not gonna try to take it apart with this driver. I don't want to mess up the screw heads or anything else like that. That one wants to act like it's tight on me today. Even though I only tightened it up finger tight. I was just going to take off this one side and show you because this is the easy side to take off. I don't have to go through try and do what you saw me doing with this one when the pivot screw comes out. But both of these have been lubed now. And they're both ready for use. Tuned and lubed. My set of Adamases. CruWear Adamases. Highly recommend these. If you don't want a heavier knife, get the Mini Adamas. I think the blade and the handle is big enough to fit in most people's hands. This is an awesome little knife, and the blade is awesome too. 3.4. It's over 3.4 millimeters, in between 3.4 and 3.5 millimeters thick, which is a lot of thickness for a little knife. My hand fits comfortably in here. It's not a big handle, but it's a handle big enough to get a nice 4-finger grip. I like it. And this one would be a great one for self-defense too, if you needed a knife for self-defense and you didn't have anything else. It's always better, in my opinion, to have a bigger knife, but if this is all you got, this will work too. Because it's a good, strong, heavy-duty knife that you don't have to worry about this with this, super strong axis lock. The black class axis locks are strong. Those are the ones that have been tested by Andrew Demko. That held like 380 or 480 pounds. It was a black class axis lock. It wasn't the blue class axis lock. It was a bedlam. Bedlams were black class knives. The ones with the full frame. The other ones don't have a full frame. The frame only goes to like right in here somewhere. You only have a partial frame. And then but for an axis lock, if you want it to be really strong, it has to have a full stainless steel frame. And the stainless steel frame has to be heat treated, and it has to be fairly thick too for a frame. That's one thing that the cold steel with the triad lock has over like other lock types, because most other lock types require a strong stainless steel frame. The Deadbolt requires a strong stainless steel frame, just like the axis lock. So it's hard to make those those types of knives real lightweight. Like this one weighs, as much as most 4-inch knives weigh. 4.6 ounces. That's like the weight class of a 4-inch knife. 4 to 5 ounces. Most knives that are in that range are usually 4-inch knives. Not the super heavy duty ones, but still strong, nice, strong. Like a cold steel towel war or one of those. I mean, they're strong. They're strong knives, but they're not super heavy duty. So this knife weighs as much as like one of those 4-inch knives. But it has to weigh a lot though, because you have to have a strong frame. It's just part of the beast. If you want a strong axis lock, you're gonna have to have a knife that weighs a little bit. I remember the bedlam used to weigh like 7.2 ounces. But the blade thickness was only like 3.2 millimeters or something like that. And it was a Persian style blade. And everybody used to think that was way too heavy for the blade length that it had and the blade thickness. But that's the reason why it held 380 pounds or whatever, is because it had that big, strong frame. That's what gave it. It wasn't the blade that gave it its strength. It was the frame. The frame and and a strong stop pin and a lock and a crossbar for your axis lock. crossbar is this piece right here that you move back and forth to release the lock, and it goes all the way across the blade tang from side to side into both sides of the handle liners. That's the reason why you need a strong liner. If you got that combination, then the axis lock's going to be strong as hell. The only thing that you have to really worry about with the axis lock is if you hit it hard on the butt end. That's how you can fail the lock. Is you hit it hard on the butt end, and lots of times the lock will bounce back, and the blade will release. The lock will bounce back, and the blade will release. That's pretty much about the only way you can make one of these locks fail. So it's not a good knife that, you know, if you're in a combat situation, to have open and using it and then hit somebody with the butt end of it with the blade out. That's not a good thing to do with the axis lock. Especially if you got a long handle and your hand's not even holding. On this one, you could probably get away with it because my hand's going to keep the axis lock bar from moving. It's going to block it from sliding back. But if you have a bigger knife, let's say like a 391 BK or something like that with a 4.5 inch blade, you might be holding it back further on the handle away from the lock. And so if you hit something, it can bounce. Bam. If you have like a really hard impact. And then the blade might fold in on your hand and cut you. But that's about the only way you can make one of these locks fail. These locks are really strong locks. You know, it's one of my favorite locks. The axis lock, the Deadbolt-Lock, and the triad locks. And now, the shark lock. But Cold Steel is supposed to be having the Atlas lock coming out. The GSM Cold Steel Atlas lock for 2022. Keep your eyes out. Keep them open. Wait for that one to come out. It's supposed to be coming out. I want to see what that one's all about. It looks like it's sort of like a, can I say this? Like a shark lock. Only instead of being in the front like the shark lock, the release is back here. Sort of like where a mid lock would be on a knife. But it really looks a lot like a shark lock to me. It looks like they got the ideal from it, from one of the AD20s or 20.5s or whatever. That's what I think. I don't know though. I gotta check it out. It sort of looks like the artisan lock too. The expensive recoil lock on the titanium model, where you have the coil spring in the back, and the slide back, you know, folds back on the coil spring, and then that's how you release the blade. It sort of looks like it'd be like that too. I guess what I'm trying to say is that other people have sort of done that. It's like, you know, I think it's going to function a lot like a shark lock, or either that, or it's going to be like the artisan lock. But anyway, we'll find out when it comes out. I'm definitely going to get one. I'll let you all know if it's original idea, if it's something totally new, if it's something that's a lot like something else. I'll let you all know. Either way, though, I want it. Because they're claiming that it's stronger than a triad. I think they're talking about the triad lock. They're saying that's what they're saying. They say it's going to be the new strong lock. But anyway, we'll check it out. And put a little drop in here. Get on those washers. Now also, you know, because this is not a rust-proof blade. I always like to put oil on knives that don't have rust-proof blades, especially ones I'm going to be in my pocket. Because in your pocket you sweat sometimes, and sweat has salt in it and it's corrosive. And don't use alcohol on your knives. I see a lot of people using alcohol to clean their knives. Alcohol is corrosive. It corrodes. I wouldn't put alcohol on a knife. Use oil. That's how you clean a knife, is with oil and with a rag. You know, like a gun cleaning rag, or like a microfiber rag or something like that. Don't use alcohol, like rubbing alcohol or anything like that. That'd be my advice. I don't never put any alcohol on my knives. Never. Because I know alcohol is corrosive. And my knives don't have to be disinfected. So I don't need alcohol on them. They don't have to be sterilized. I'm not going to use them for doing surgery or anything. Absolutely love this one. And all the time I put off the Adamas, well, I put them off until, you know, because I didn't want the D2 one. But now I want a D2 one to compare it to one of these. These are beautiful. Okay, it's ready to go. Fit to fight, sir. All right. I love it. I love it. Oh man, remember how it was before? Now it's like it's tuned. There's no blade wobble or nothing. No blade wobble or anything. It's just lubricated. That's all. When you got a bronze phosphor knife, you know, there's two things can be going on with it. If it's not moving easily, either you got it too tight or it needs to be lubed. Look at that. On these heavy duty knives, when they're made right with bronze phosphorus washers and stuff, you don't need to have ball bearings all the time. And this is a lot more durable than the ball bearing setup. Alright, but that's about it for this one. I'm going to cut it off right here. I'm going to put it out for you guys today. Today is January 25. January 25th. January 25, 2022. These are my Adamases. Got my big one, and I got the little one. It's like Yogi Bear and Boo Boo. Hey, Boo Boo. Absolutely love them. Absolutely love them. Highly recommend both of these knives. The CruWear is awesome. This one right here, I actually didn't bump something with it, and it didn't damage the edge at all. And I bumped something that was hard. It was like a ceramic surface. It didn't damage the edge at all. I mean, it's like, you know, an Oz 8 blade or you know, most other steels that would either blunted it or rolled it a little bit. This one didn't do anything to it. These are some, I think this is probably a really awesome steel, but you know, like all other steels that aren't stainless, you got to keep it oiled. I would recommend keeping it oiled. If you ever get it wet, don't put it back in your pocket, you know, fold it up wet. Dry it off first, unless you want to get some rust on it. Always dry it off first. That's the way you got to do with high carbon steels. You always got to make sure they're dry. Dry and lubricate it. Especially dry though. Lubricate them mostly when you store them or clean them. Or pull maintenance on them. These are beautiful knives. Absolutely love them. Let's see how sharp it is real quick. I know we're at the end of the video. We're using a lot of time here. Hold on. We'll do this really quick. Razor. That's me. It's not the knife. Oh yeah, that cuts nicely. Beautiful. That one feels, this one feels better though. This one feels like it's cutting better. Yes, it is. It's definitely, it's cutting cleaner too. So I think this one has a better edge than the mini one. That has an awesome edge on it. This one's really razor. Let me look at this one again though. Let me, hold on. Yep, this one's sharper. This one feels a little bit grittier when it's going through the paper. This one doesn't feel any grit. It just glides. It's like one of my artisan knives. Artisan or CGRB knives. That came from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Beautiful blades. Highly recommend them. Highly recommend them, people. I got it for $169 on eBay, and there's still some more if you want to get one. Not $212. These are normally go for like $212. And this is a brand new one I got off of eBay for $212. I mean, $169. $169. I'll leave the link. I'll leave the link on the post. All right. Peace out. Stiletto.